We found troubling violations of law and policy in the conduct of highly consequential investigations. Another aspect of our findings concerned the FBI's failure to sufficiently scrutinize information it received or to apply the same standards to allegations it received about the Clinton and Trump campaigns.
All right, that was former special counsel John Durham delivering his testimony before the House Judiciary Committee, this past Wednesday. In his remarks, Durham took direct aim at senior Justice Department leadership on everything from the unsubstantiated nature of their investigations into the former president and the overall leadership at the FBI. Joining us now to discuss this is Republican Wyoming Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Harriet Hageman. Congresswoman, really great to have you with us. Before we begin to break down Durham's testimony on Capitol Hill, I just wanted to ask you, for the last hour, we've been talking about this unprecedented escalation between Russian President Vladimir Putin and the head of the mercenary group, the Wagner Group chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin. It does appear that there has been a de-escalation. I wanted to begin with your reaction.
Well, I think that what's going on in the Ukraine is absolutely tragic from so many different levels. And I wish that we had some leadership here in the United States that was willing to actually sit down and try to figure out how we can de-escalate the entire situation, not just this battle between these two leaders, if you will. We've got to find a solution. We've got to find a way to stop the horror that we're seeing in the Ukraine. But nobody at this point seems to want to sit down and actually discuss what a ceasefire would look like or anything like that. It appears that this is a moneymaker for certain segments of our society, and it doesn't matter how many billions of dollars we throw at it. We're not willing to discuss what an end game looks like. We don't even have, to my knowledge, it hasn't been reported that we even have an idea what victory looks like. So I'd like to see some cooler heads prevail on the entire front, if you will. And so far, we're not seeing that because we don't have any leadership in the White House.
Thank you very much for that. Turning again back to the testimony that we heard from the special counsel, John Durham, listening to the House Judiciary Committee hearing, it was almost two very different interpretations of John Durham's 300-plus page report. What were your key takeaways from his testimony, and how do you think that will contribute to, again, an appetite for reforms within the FBI and FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act?
Well, there were numerous takeaways. It lasted over 6 hours on Wednesday. He provided incredibly important information at how the DOJ and the FBI have become weaponized against Republicans, conservatives, Donald Trump, anybody that the left does not agree with. So I think one of the most important things that we have to recognize is that we are now moving towards a two-tier justice system. If you are a Clinton or a Biden, you're going to be treated one way. If you are a Trump or a Republican, you're going to be treated very, very differently. What this showed is the absolute corruption and rot in the FBI. They knew in August that there was absolutely no truth, August of 2016, that there was absolutely no truth whatsoever to any allegation of Russian collusion between the Trump campaign, the Trump campaign and Russia. And yet, they continued with an investigation. They went to the FISA court 3 separate times to get the authority to surveil what ultimately was the Trump campaign and then the Trump presidency. And then they continued into the next year after President Trump was elected to try to destroy his ability to actually govern. So this was a conspiracy. This was cooked up to either try to block him from being president. And then once he was, it was to destroy his presidency. It is corrupt. It is rotten. The people need to be held accountable who were responsible for this. But with Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray in charge, we continue to have the problems that we do because they're not going to address this. We just saw what happened this week with Hunter Biden. We now have absolutely incredibly credible evidence of the bribery of the Biden family, the corrupt Biden crime family. And the FBI and the DOJ are looking at the other direction. They're not going to try to hold these people accountable. And a two-tier justice system, I think that it was at the very end of his testimony that Mr. Durham acknowledged that a two-tier justice system will make it so that this country cannot survive.
And then, of course, you had the Democrats during that hearing assassinating his character on top of that, again, for the factual-based evidence that was contained in his report. Congresswoman Harriet Hageman, we have to leave it there. But, of course, we look forward to following up with you on Capitol Hill, particularly over the next couple months when we will hear testimony from the Attorney General and the FBI's director. Thank you.